After 220 kilometres on the road, metal workers from ArcelorMittal are steeling themselves for battle. These factory workers are marching towards Paris to save their jobs. The aim is the Eiffel Tower, a symbol of France made of steel from the Lorraine region. But for Antoine, it's already too late. He's unemployed after his factory shut down.
They've announced the end of the P6 blast furnace. My job's over now. As long as the furnace isn't working, neither will I. That's why I'm marching today, because what happened to me will happen to them tomorrow. I'm here to tell politicians that their job is to find us jobs.
This symbolic walk was organised after the workers endured several months of inactivity. Produce and consume French has become a key campaign slogan, but the reality is far different as globalisation takes hold.
A country's wealth hinges on its industry, on its jobs and businesses. Not everything should be made in Mexico or made in India or made in China. We also have to produce in France.
In 2002, an Indian group took over the blast furnaces in Florange in Lorraine, the last two furnaces in the steel-making region. 10 years on, the world's top steel producer is generating a healthy profit, but has reduced its production in Florange and closed the two furnaces. Since that decision was taken, the factory workers decided to stop working before setting out on their march.
This is the first town on the road. Let's ease up a bit. We can't all keep up. We've already covered 200 kilometers on foot.
They may be laughing, but morale is low. The walk is a test for these workers. They must cover 29 kilometers a day.
Look at the hill over there. We're gonna die there. We're not doing this to beat a record. We have a factory that makes money and turns a profit. We make highly specialized steel, but even so, it's not enough. If the only issue is that it's cheaper to go elsewhere, well then, we'll all go elsewhere.
After 10 kilometers comes a much-needed pit stop at the side of the road. In the support car is Rudy. He's a veteran in the company tasked with taking care of the walkers.
Here's everything you need. There's water, meat, the fridge, tools, everything you could need.
After a few massages and stretches, they hit the road again. Every year, outsourcing cuts tens of thousands of jobs in France, but some businesses are fighting the trend and bringing production back into the country. That's the case for the toy maker Smoby, breathing life back into a valley in the Jura Mountains known as the toy-making central of France. The company believes made in France is marginally more profitable than made in China.
China is no longer a haven in terms of cheap production. Far from that. Every year, wages rise at least 10 to 15%, and that pushes up our prices directly. The capitalist system, which above all prices cheap labor, must see that China is no longer as competitive as it used to be.
In 2008, the German group Simba Dickies brought out Smoby. 40% of production was outsourced to China. Now it's less than 20%.
There's a little problem here with the injection point. We need to talk to Emmanuel about it, because they're no good.
The Made in France logo is also a mark of quality, crucial in products for children.
The Made in France label represents quality, but it's also about providing a service to our customers. Of course, there's financial considerations to take into account for every company. We're not an NGO. We saw, taking the company over, that there was an advantage in producing in France, but investment was needed.
But the success of a business doesn't always translate into jobs. 8 years ago, there were 900 employees. Now, there's less than half.
French factories have very few workers and a lot of technicians. A lot of the work is automated.
These tractors were made by a machine, sometimes the cost of producing in France. These Ito tractors certainly aren't toys and are made almost entirely in China, but their power transmission system is made in Saint-Dizier in eastern France. In this factory, workers make gearboxes, an essential component the Chinese couldn't copy. So in 2011, a Chinese company bought it out, saving 200 jobs.
It was being bought out or the site closing completely. I think they've saved us. We'll see what the future holds.
Is the Made in France label important? To make it in France, that's the priority. And I hope that will stay in France for a while.
We have made and produced the product for 20 years. We know it well. It's a good product, quality, and experience speaks for itself.
For a year, Mr. Liu has been the new boss. He knows 3 French phrases, but they get him surprisingly far.
He says hello, goodbye, okay. We've had dozens of bosses who have just ignored us. So the fact he speaks to us workers directly helps avoid conflict.
Mr. Liu's lack of words is made up by his ability to do his maths. In buying up businesses, the Chinese are buying one more thing, the Made in Europe label.
We are not in Saint-Dizier by chance or charity. For us, it's the gateway into Europe. What interests us here is the power transmission system technology. We want to adapt gearboxes to fit our tractors made in China. It's a good platform for us to get into the Western market.
But for now, the workers at Ito are fluctuating in an outfit that's too big for them. 1,000 workers have gone, leaving just 200 today. Raymond is one of them. He's head of maintenance, and this cheery union member has fought many battles in his time.
We live in a castle. Our business is designed to make 80 tractors a day, but we only make the power transmission systems. Today, we only make 8 a day.
Over lunch, the former unionists gather and talk of better times. In its glory days, their factory produced 1,500 tractors a month. They all hope this era will return. But while they wait, they'll have to do it the Chinese way.
Ni hao and xie xie. The first means hello and the second thank you. A year before they arrived, we were facing unemployment. We were broke. So we say to the Chinese, hello, welcome, and thank you.
Ito, China's #1 tractor maker, has promised via Mr. Liu a 100% French production line. The workers hope this is a guarantee for their future. Since he joined the factory in 1986, Raymond has lived through 4 rounds of redundancies. At 46 years old, he's father to 3 boys, but he never takes his work worries home.
We'll see how it all goes. For the moment, he won't talk to me about it. For the moment, it's okay.
Even if she doesn't say it, Sonia's concerned for her children's future. Raymond hopes one day his boys will join him in the factory.
When I see the apprentices in the factory, father and son side by side makes me want the same thing for my kids. We'll see in 10 years how it all plays out.
Thanks to Chinese investment, Raymond's family's been protected by the huge wave of deindustrialization that's hit France. Today, barely 1 worker in 10 works in industry. Meanwhile, the walkers haven't given up. A musical welcome awaits them in Paris after a journey of 350 kilometres. Marching for their jobs and for their lives. Marching to save their factories from outsourcing. It's been a tough journey for Michel, Rudy, Henri and the rest. They're all exhausted.
We have blisters everywhere, we hurt everywhere, but our spirits are singing. It's a firework in my head. It's really powerful when you realize that we did it. We did it, 350 kilometers by foot. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought it? There are many who would have loved it if we had crashed and burned, and others who wanted us to quit. But we're from Lorraine. We're determined. We want to keep our jobs, and we'll go to the ends of the earth if we have to. They must know we'll go to the ends of the earth.
Finally, they're reunited with their loved ones. Antoine finds his family after 10 days on the road, and already on the brink of tears, holding his daughter pushes him over the edge.
When you rise to a challenge, afterwards there's hope. I hope everyone can see that.
Is it moving?
Yes, it's given me more motivation to continue and go even further.
Rudy's thoughts have already turned to the future battles that lie ahead for the steelworkers of Florange.
We continue the battle as early as next week. We'll find other ideas. We'll be very creative, believe you me.
You'll carry on till the end?
Until the end of the end, because that's what we have to do. It's essential that people know how we feel.
Do you believe what you've done is a success?
Of course it's a success.
But this success has been motivated by loss. They're here because their blast furnaces have been shut down, and no one can say if they'll start working again. The steelworkers made in France.